The unyielding resistance of Germania against Rome. The resistance of Germania against the Roman Empire stands as one of history's most compelling examples of defiance against a superpower. Despite the Roman Empire's unparalleled military might and ambition, the Germanic tribes' fierce independence, mastery of their environment, and unbreakable resolve prevented Rome from fully conquering their lands. This resistance not only safeguarded Germania's sovereignty but also reshaped the trajectory of Roman imperial strategy. 1. The land and the people of Germania. Germania was a vast and untamed region, stretching from the Rhine and Danube rivers to the forests and rivers of Eastern Europe. To the Romans, it was a wild frontier, home to tribes that were disorganized and barbaric but incredibly fierce and resourceful in battle. The tribes of Germania. Germania was not a unified state but a mosaic of tribes, including the Cherusci, Chatti, Suebi, Marcomanni, and many others. Each tribe had its unique leadership, customs, and territories. Decentralized societies. Germanic tribes lacked the centralized governance that defined Rome. Decisions were made collectively in tribal assemblies, and leaders were chosen based on their prowess in battle and ability to inspire loyalty. Warrior culture. Warfare was central to Germanic life. Individual bravery was highly esteemed, and warriors often fought in small, mobile units that excelled in ambushes and hit-and-run tactics. The terrain of resistance. The dense forests, marshlands, and rivers of Germania provided natural defenses against Roman invasion. The terrain negated many of Rome's advantages, such as its reliance on roads, siege engines, and heavy infantry formations. An unfamiliar battlefield. For Roman soldiers used to Mediterranean climates and open landscapes, Germania's dense woods and bogs were alien and perilous. The tribes turned this to their advantage, using their intimate knowledge of the land to outmaneuver Roman forces. 2. Early skirmishes and Roman ambitions. Caesar's first forays. Julius Caesar was the first Roman leader to engage the Germanic tribes on a significant scale during his Gallic campaigns, 58 to 50 BCE. His encounters with the Suebi and other tribes set the tone for Rome's future struggles in Germania. The Rhine as a boundary. Caesar's campaigns pushed Germanic tribes eastward, establishing the Rhine as a temporary frontier. However, Caesar recognized the difficulty of subduing the tribes permanently and avoided prolonged campaigns in their territory. Drusus and the Augustan ambitions. Under Emperor Augustus, the Roman Empire sought to expand its boundaries beyond the Rhine and Danube. Drusus and his successor, Tiberius, led early campaigns into Germania, achieving initial success. Building forts and roads. Roman soldiers constructed forts and roads deep into Germania, aiming to establish permanent control. These structures became symbols of Roman dominance but also targets for Germanic attacks. Resistance emerges. Even during these early campaigns, Germanic tribes resisted fiercely, disrupting supply lines and ambushing Roman patrols. 3. The turning point. The Teutoburg Forest, 9 CE. The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest was a defining moment in the Germanic resistance, where Arminius, a chieftain of the Cherusci, dealt Rome one of its most devastating defeats. The betrayal by Arminius. Arminius, who had served in the Roman auxiliary forces and earned Roman trust, used his insider knowledge to orchestrate a massive ambush. He united several tribes under his leadership, convincing them to rise against Rome. The battle. The Roman general Publius Quinctilius Varus led 3 legions deep into Germania, unaware of the trap awaiting them. Arminius lured the legions into the narrow paths of the Teutoburg Forest. Tactics of the tribes. The Germanic warriors attacked from the dense undergrowth, overwhelming the Roman columns. The terrain made it impossible for the legions to regroup or form effective defensive lines. Roman catastrophe. Over 20,000 Roman soldiers were killed or captured, and the eagles of the 3 legions were lost. Varus, realizing the scale of the disaster, took his own life. See the aftermath. The defeat shattered Rome's ambitions to turn Germania into a province. Emperor Augustus famously lamented, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions." From this point on, Rome largely abandoned plans for full conquest and instead fortified the Rhine as its northern frontier. 4. Sustained resistance and Roman retaliation. Although Rome refrained from large-scale invasions after Teutoburg, it did not retreat entirely. The Rhine and Danube frontiers became heavily militarized zones, with Roman legions stationed to prevent Germanic incursions. A. Germanicus campaigns, 15 to 16 CE. Germanicus, a Roman general and the adopted son of Emperor Tiberius, launched punitive campaigns into Germania to avenge the defeat at Teutoburg. The Battle of the Weser River. Germanicus defeated Arminius in a pitched battle near the Weser River, reclaiming 2 of the lost eagle standards. However, the victory was costly, and Arminius retreated into the forests, avoiding total defeat. Roman frustration. Despite his successes, Germanicus was recalled to Rome, and the empire abandoned attempts to subjugate Germania fully. B. The Marcomannic Wars, 166 to 180 CE. A century later, Germanic tribes launched invasions across the Danube during the Marcomannic Wars, threatening Roman provinces in the Balkans and northern Italy. Roman response. Emperor Marcus Aurelius personally led campaigns to repel the invasions. While Rome managed to secure temporary peace, the wars highlighted the growing strength of the Germanic tribes and the strain on Roman resources. 5. The long-term impact of Germanic resistance. A. The Rhine and Danube frontiers. The Germanic tribes' resistance forced Rome to consolidate its northern borders along the Rhine and Danube rivers. These rivers became symbolic and literal barriers between Roman civilization and the barbarian world. Fortifications and garrisons. Rome built an extensive network of forts, watchtowers, and walls, collectively known as the Limes Germanicus, to guard against Germanic incursions. B. The migration period. By the 4th century CE, the balance of power shifted as Germanic tribes migrated en masse into Roman territory, driven by pressure from the Huns and other nomadic groups. Key events. The Visigoths under Alaric I sacked Rome in 410 CE. The Vandals established a kingdom in North Africa, from which they raided Roman lands. The Ostrogoths and Franks created powerful successor states within former Roman provinces. C. Shaping medieval Europe. The Germanic tribes ultimately became the builders of post-Roman Europe. Their resistance preserved their cultural identity, which merged with Roman traditions to create the foundations of medieval European civilization. 6. The spirit of Germanic defiance. The Germanic tribes' unyielding resistance was driven by their fierce attachment to freedom and their land. Unlike the centralized societies Rome encountered elsewhere, the Germanic tribes valued personal and communal autonomy above all else. Arminius as a symbol. Arminius became a symbol of Germanic defiance, celebrated in later centuries as a hero who preserved the tribe's independence. A legacy of freedom. The tribe's success in resisting Rome became an enduring example of how decentralized, determined societies could challenge even the most powerful empires. Conclusion. 7. Key figures of Germanic resistance. The Germanic resistance against Rome was not just a product of culture and terrain, but also driven by exceptional leaders who rallied their people in the face of overwhelming odds. These figures, through their courage, cunning, and leadership, played pivotal roles in ensuring Germania's defiance endured. Arminius, the hero of Teutoburg. Arminius is the most iconic figure in the Germanic resistance. Born into the Cherusei tribe, he was raised in Roman society and served as an auxiliary officer in the Roman army. However, his loyalty lay with his homeland, and he became the architect of Rome's greatest defeat in Germania. Tactical brilliance. Arminius' ability to unite rival tribes and exploit the terrain of the Teutoburg forest marked him as a master strategist. His betrayal of Rome at Teutoburg devastated the Roman legions and forced Rome to abandon its plans for Germanic conquest. His legacy. Though assassinated by rival chieftains in 21 CE, Arminius became a symbol of resistance and independence. His name was revived centuries later as Hermann, celebrated as a Germanic national hero. B. Maroboduus, the diplomat king. While Arminius embodied guerrilla warfare, Maroboduus, the king of the Marcomanni, represented another approach to resistance: diplomacy and consolidation. Building a kingdom, Maroboduus united several tribes in Central Europe, forming a proto-state that rivaled Roman provinces in size and organization. He maintained peace with Rome but refused to submit to its authority. Conflict with Arminius. Despite their shared opposition to Rome, Maroboduus and Arminius clashed over leadership, highlighting the difficulty of uniting the fiercely independent Germanic tribes. See Ariovistus, the first challenger. Ariovistus, leader of the Suebi, was one of the first Germanic leaders to challenge Rome during Julius Caesar's campaigns in Gaul. His defeat at the Battle of Vosges in 58 BCE marked the beginning of Rome's long struggle with the Germanic tribes. Early lessons for Rome. Ariovistus demonstrated the ferocity and unpredictability of Germanic warfare, forcing Caesar to adapt his strategies. His resistance set the stage for future conflicts. Alaric I, the sack of Rome. Though not directly involved in the earlier Roman-Germanic wars, Alaric I, a Visigothic leader, represents the ultimate triumph of Germanic tribes over Rome. The sack of Rome, 410 CE, Alaric's capture and plundering of Rome symbolized the fall of the Western Roman Empire. His actions were the culmination of centuries of Germanic defiance and migration.